Welcome back to the Sci-Fi Cross Sections. This is a sci-fi podcast where we do all things sci-fi.
Shit, I thought it was a Dungeons and Dragons podcast.
Yeah, we gotta go.
Anyway, here we are. As promised, a little off track, but we're finally doing the Katee Sackhoff episode, right?
Yes, Another Life on Netflix.
So Miller had promised this when we released our, just looking forward, looking ahead, welcome to season 3 episode a couple weeks ago. And then we didn't deliver on it. We did instead Black Mirror. However, we're finally here and we are mixed with feelings.
Can we start off with a warm-up, actually? Because some big news was announced today.
Yeah. You're talking about The
Matrix.
The Matrix.
There is officially 100% a sequel of The Matrix. Confirmed. Being written and directed only by Lana Wachowski.
Wow.
And starring
perplexingly, Keanu Reeves.
Love him.
I have a question.
And Carrie-Anne Moss.
Carrie-Anne Moss, which I'm actually equally excited for coming back.
Very, but perplexed. What was that, Bill?
Did anybody actually watch Sense8?
No,
I
actually,
started it, but I never finished it.
Yeah, Lana Wachowski did that one. It's actually pretty freaky, except when they decided to do the movie finale, it just gets kind of weird and kind of goes off track. And you're like, oh, this could have been good, but...
I thought both of the siblings did Sense8. It was just Lana?
I thought it was just Lana.
I heard it was both, but
I mean, maybe like Lana just directed it or was like just head writer of it, but maybe they both produced, which I would assume is going to be the case for Matrix 4, where Lily will also produce, but she just won't be involved.
We could look this up, but I actually encourage the listeners to look this up.
I mean, we have all the information. That's it. Like, everything I said is all the information we have right now. It was literally came out today, so we've just given us away that it takes a week to edit these things for some reason. And
well, we all have actual jobs, so.
And it just came out today, and it is shocking to say the least, because if you haven't watched The Matrix 3 Revolutions,
I actually burned it out of my memory. I stopped at 2.
Well, what?
I never did.
Really? I'm gonna spoil it for you right here.
I applaud
Good for you.
I applaud
Good for
you.
you.
I applaud you.
Neo dies.
Oh.
Dies.
Outside the Matrix?
Yes, in a Jesus Christ formation.
Yes, he does. Of course.
It was very Christ heavy.
And I'm wondering if maybe The Matrix 4, I did air quotes, 4, is maybe not 4, but maybe a sort of Superman Returns of The Matrix, where we're going to ignore Reloaded and ignore Revolutions.
Look at it this way. You remember, this is not sci-fi, but the God of War series. Mm-hmm. How they went a certain way, and then God of War 5 came out.
4.
They had 4 games before that, though.
Ascension was a prequel.
So
and
here's what we're going to do. We
numbered.
call it God of War 5 because it's the 5th God of War game. They completely shifted gears and went a whole different direction, right?
Yes, but Kratos didn't die at the end of God of War 3.
So here we go. We're done talking about God of War.
I'm just pointing it out. What do you do with the story? Where do you go with the story where Neo sacrificing his life to stop the chain? Keep in mind,
dying for sins. Yes,
it wasn't. So I don't. Did you see Reloaded? I don't even know if they covered it in Reloaded.
You didn't see the second one?
No.
So you know,
did you watch the first Matrix?
This.
Yeah.
I could see you knowing like the big picture, but not the little details. The Matrix had been done 21 times, I think was the number. Was the reveal by the architect. They build it. Inevitably, humans fight back, and inevitably the robots kill them all and restart. And they do it again, and they do it again, and they do it again. Neo's death in Revolutions, or Revelations, I think it is actually. His death in Revelations is not is to stop the cycle. He agrees. Agent Smith becomes a virus in the system, and he agrees to go in and be the antivirus to stop Smith. And in doing so, he gets the machines to agree to leave the people of Zion alone. And that's that. And the head machine, which looks like a baby, is very understanding. And he's like, yeah, all right, whatever. And they do, and the machines all like leave, or I think they just kind of drop in the battle of Zion, and a lot of them go, and that's that. Like Zion lives, and the people can live, and the Matrix is kind of like still sticks around, but becomes an agreement to like leave it alone. So, what'll it be? I don't know. I thought that was worth a warm up.
I guess we just have to wait and see what happens with that. Honestly, it's
Working title: Matrix Reloaded.
No,
it's going to be Matrix rebooted. Thank you.
Yeah, it might be actually.
I bet you. Oh, it's going to be something. It's going to
be
be something awful.
I'm willing to give her the benefit of the doubt because The Matrix is literally the greatest sci-fi film ever created. And perplexingly, you have two awful films immediately after that. Like, I'm willing to be like, if you're gonna restart, if you're gonna give this a fresh start.
Matrix Reloaded wasn't that bad.
It was okay. It was an exaggeration. But in comparison to The Matrix, which is literally this holy grail of sci-fi, where it's like it changed how we think about the world to this day. We have some nerd who makes electric cars and shoots rockets into space, convinced.
Don't talk about Jeff Bezos like that. Oh,
no,
wait, you're talking
Elon.
about Elon Musk.
Convinced that he lives in a simulation. Convinced.
How many people did I just piss off by saying that?
And
Actually,
I think that, just goes to show. But, because she, not just her, but her and her sister did that, I think, we can give them the benefit of the doubt on this for now and be like, if you're going to do this, I hope you know what you're doing.
The fact that they're doing it, she's writing it.
And directing it.
But they're not both involved, right?
Not Lily.
Okay, so at least she's writing it and directing it. That gives me hope that it's not just a ploy to make more money and whatnot. Like,
not to mention, it's shocking Warner Brothers even gave them a job at this point. I hate to be that person.
Warner Brothers needs a Hail Mary after all the failed DC.
True.
But that's happened in the last 5 years.
They got Warner Media coming up, and I think that'll do fairly well because they're packaging it with HBO.
Yeah.
I think, or it'll be HBO Plus now. Excuse me. I think if Warner Brothers is willing to bet on Lily, as far as we know, just Lily right now, or Lana, excuse me. If Warner Brothers is just willing to bet on Lana at this point. After Jupiter Ascending. I think Jupiter Ascending was their last film, right?
No.
What'd they do after that? I don't think there was anything else.
Was that their last film?
Yeah, because it was such a bomb.
Yeah.
That
you might be right. Actually.
That was that. Everyone thought that was that.
By the way, Jupiter Ascending is on Netflix right now. If you want to watch it, go ahead.
It's worth a watch.
I still won't, but
it's worth a watch. It's got a lot of problems, but it's still fun.
I mean, come on. I love Channing Tatum as much as the next person, but I still can't watch it. Anyway, so we got to move on.
Yeah, no. But that was a good warm up.
Another Life.
Hey, Another Life. Do you want a summary?
I want a summary from you, Ben. Can you do a whole season?
Yeah, it's easy. I mean,
very interesting video game. Lots of people flying around on an island.
That's Second Life, buddy.
I'm not prepared for this episode.
That's the sequel.
I have a really good one right here, actually. Set in the future, an anomaly from space appears in Earth's orbit and plants a stalk-like object into the ground. Humans attempt to determine what it is, why it's been placed there, and what's going to happen next. But it's taking too long to crack the code, so they send a team into space to the source of the object to investigate further. It's a great premise.
Yeah.
Love it. It can't go wrong.
I love the design of the Mobius strip style ship that comes in.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
As
kind of goofy as it was cool at the same time.
It's great to start it off with Bad Legally Blonde and be like, hey, that's her. And you're like, why is this happening? But it happens, we open up the series for a very good reason, I think. And I know our overlord is trying to figure out where we're going to start here, I think, is what's happening.
No.
But while he's doing that, the opening seems really arbitrary, but it has a very important point that kind of illustrates, I think, a lot of people's criticisms on the style of the show that we'll get to today. Or do you want to start, Overlord?
Honestly, when it comes to talking about an entire season of a show, I'm a little hesitant where I want to start, but right off the bat, I guess we could talk about the intro, as you're saying, with this alien ship coming down and landing. So no, right off the bat, when this, what do they call it? The artifact or something?
Yes.
The artifact. When it's coming in, I basically get the feeling of Arrival. That makes any sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
And I feel like they really pull hard on the strings of that movie for this show.
Not just that movie. A lot of the criticism coming at Another Life right now is that it tries to homage many.
Oh, no, it's heavily derivative. But I will not say it in a bad way. I will not say in a bad way. That's not my complaint about this show.
Yeah, no, I never once got the idea that they were trying to be like, we don't have a good idea, so we're going to rip off of all these other ones. And no. It's very much done lovingly.
It was a healthy blend.
It was a healthy blend. I was going to say, yeah, nobody was trying to pull anything over on anybody. It was more like a love letter.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's J.J. Abrams making Super 8.
Yes.
Yeah. Which was done a lot better, but...
they had means to an end, too. It wasn't just... They weren't plot points of their own. They were part of the larger idea of the episode. When she's battling with her demons in Soma, that was really interesting. That was where a lot of those came in. The alien reference, there were 2 Predator references in that episode, I believe.
I got Event Horizon, oddly enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
Usually in that one. Those are my big 3 is Alien, Event Horizon, and Arrival is what I picked out. You picked out the Alien and the Predator, which I was like, okay.
So, well, at least to me, one of the most visually iconic Predator styles is the 3 dots for his shoulder cannon. And in that same scene where they're doing the Predator thing, or the alien shtick,
she wakes up from Soma in the nightmare,
and there's something on board and it's coming after us. And her second in command, Cass, comes around the corner with the rifle. And it has the 3 laser points coming off of it. And that was my first thought was like, oh, they got Alien and Predator in the same one.
I didn't think about that till he said it. So that's actually
a good point. Yeah,
that's cool. That's really cool.
But yeah, it's heavily derivative. Oh, there's so much to talk about. Why don't I want to hit at this point, talk about the cast.
Okay. We
all love Katee Sackhoff.
We do.
She is literally the sci-fi goddess reincarnate, because I'm a big Sigourney Weaver fan who's heavily attached to sci-fi for the last 40 years at this point.
Yeah.
Katee Sackhoff has become that in the last 20 years. Well, 15 years, we'll say.
Katee Sackhoff is a queen.
Mm-hmm.
She is wonderful.
Sci-fi goddess. We don't call it queen.
She's a goddess. And I think what's fun about her in this show is that she's always having a good time. You can tell, obviously, Nico Breckenridge is not always having a good time, but you can tell, like, out of everyone in the cast, Katie's into it the most. And it's because this isn't strange to her. This is like, this
Sci-fi
is nothing compared to Galactica.
Yeah. Right.
And, she just dives right into it, and she's interesting and fun to watch. It's fun to watch her going crazy.
Funny enough, wasn't the original Starbuck like a hunk, too?
It was a male, wasn't it?
It was a male. I forget who it was.
Oh, we're going back to the 70s at this point. I don't know if I can touch that. I think
Toasters.
I started watching the original
Toasters.
Battlestar Galactica. I got 10 minutes in and went, nope.
We are young boys.
I just thought I remembered when I was watching...
We're turning 30 next year.
Yeah.
That's young. Yeah. We're not getting into this.
I thought I remembered when I was watching Galactica, and I was reading some interviews and things, the original Starbuck was like, hot young gun too. Like kind of like her character very much parallels his as far as her arc.
Yeah. The thing is Katee Sackhoff carried such a huge weight in Battlestar Galactica. Her, Jamie Bammer, they all carried that show.
Yes. Edward James Olmos.
So yes, good. Perfectly. And she shows with this show that she 100%. You said it, she carries the weight of this show.
Oh, yes.
This cast would be nothing without Katee Sackhoff. And
oh, yes.
It's obvious. But I will not say that she is the only person that I didn't warm up to. Samuel Anderson, who plays William, the AI on the ship.
Loved him.
Great.
Actually, my favorite character in this show.
I would agree with that.
Loved him.
It was the same old ship AI kind of story. But
perfect
it had a fun
sci-fi
twist on it. Which
Definitely.
is, we should say we're going to get into spoilers.
Oh, I'm sorry. 100%. If you do not want this show spoiled for you, turn it off. I will give you 5 seconds. You fucked up if you're still listening. Here we go.
Download the episode.
The twist of falling in love with Nico was something I was like, oh, he's in love with her. Like right away, I was like, oh, he's in love with her. But I was like, they're not going to touch this. This is fodder for later seasons. And I was really happy that they were like, you know what, let's just dive in. What happens when an AI's heart is broken by a human? How does a child, with the mental capacity or emotional capacity of a child, with the mental capacity of a supercomputer, deal with the fact that this flesh bag just hurt it?
But I wouldn't say he has the emotional capacity of a child, though, because he deals with things very well. As far as dealing
with hurt, he definitely does.
But this is his first time.
Emotions,
this is his first time being in love. I wouldn't even call that being a child. This is his first time being in love. He didn't know
that's
how to
what I mean, in that
it.
the emotional capacity. You know, if a child has their heart broken, then they feel devastated. They feel like the whole world has ended.
Sure.
And you know, he says he wanted to kill her. For what she did, and I would call that the emotional capacity of a child.
He was sorting out a lot of emotions in this.
You can't blame him.
Series,
right? I'm not saying you could blame him.
No, I think similar to a lot of the other storylines that they picked up and solved in this season. I don't know if they went into it not really expecting to get another season or what. They could have taken a lot more time with some of these things. That, for example, I think. It was definitely the first 3/4 of the season. It was really taking its time developing, and they were doing a good job of it. I definitely showed in their interactions as it went that they were developing as like there was a underlying relationship developing between the two of them. And then they were just like, oh, now it's a thing, and now it's solved.
Well, I'm going to speak to that in a little bit.
So I think that's important to recognize that that's not just another life, but a shift in the way storytelling is told as a whole now. Anyway, I suspect, due to binge nature, is no one wants the bubbling under the surface anymore. And because in a lot of cases, writers don't know how to do it well. You get a lot of bubbling under the surface, and it comes down to audience members just going, talk to them. Just talk to them. Just talk to them. And they don't, and things go bad because of this bubbling under the surface, and it leaves people frustrated. So I thought it was actually kind of refreshing how, like, they talked, and once you get the talk going, then you just deal with the fallout. And maybe the fallout was a little rushed. I think it's because they probably should have put it up in, like, episode 6, maybe, even episode 7. But the fallout was a little rushed from it, but I thought the resolution to the fallout made sense for the most part.
Well, especially with her mid-season arc of starting to feel like, well, the crew may turn on her or leave her behind. I think that would have been strong if William was also not 100% in her camp too.
Yeah,
they definitely should have moved it up. And I don't mean that they shouldn't have resolved it, but it feels like, for as long as they built it up, it came and went too fast.
As long as we're talking about Captain Nico's issues with crew members, I also want to bring up the character Cass, which was played by Elizabeth Lidlow, I think is her last name. Mm-hmm. I thought she was also fantastic. My three favorite actors / characters in this show was Katee Sackhoff playing Nico, Samuel Anderson playing William, and Elizabeth playing Cass. Because honestly, that's the most character development in the entire show, was those three characters.
Yeah.
I would say, what's the husband's name? Eric?
Yeah.
Eric.
He also had pretty good development, but it felt like it was also part of Nico's character development. Like all the flashbacks, I felt like we got a lot of Eric through her perspective, unfortunately.
Once they actually had something for him to do, I feel like his character developed really nicely.
How's it feel, white male? Have a male character as an addendum to the female character's development. Sucks, doesn't it?
Well, to be fair, to be fair, the YouTube content creator character, what is the actress's name? She's from Hellboy. And Hellboy.
You talking about Harper Glass?
Yeah.
Yes.
She's bad legally blonde.
Yes. Her character was there as a device for Eric's development, though. So there is still, unfortunately...
That whole thing through the first half of this season was so bad.
Fucking terrible.
It felt so
But
bad.
her character is so important. I'm trying to find this damn name.
It is, but I hated the way she just showed up. And it was like, okay,
Yes.
all these characters it's like a weirdly small world. They're all tied together in a way that it felt super forced. But once
Summer
the characters
Summer
actually
Blair, yep.
started having something to do, I felt like it felt more natural. But when they were just thrust into situations they didn't belong together in, it felt weird.
Do you want a name? I have someone you could blame. I know whose fault it is the show
By the
starts
way,
off really bad.
Okay.
There are 8 writers on this show.
Yeah, well, that's fairly normal. Are they 8 like full head writers? Or are you walking at the writer's room?
Each episode had a different writer, except the first and 10th episode was the same writer.
That's not normal in like Netflix world,
I don't like that.
but that's very normal in network.
You should have a head writer for all 10 episodes.
You do.
And then you have
You do.
people off to the side.
You have a head writer. They're called the showrunner.
Okay, you have the showrunner, but
And the
10
show
separate writers, that's...
literally all of network is always like that.
You should have like 3 or 4 writers
Network,
max.
basic cable. Not every Breaking Bad episode was written
but
by
this is
Vince Gilligan.
This is a Netflix show that should
But
be
no,
way more
no.
concise.
Okay, Netflix is great, but also Netflix is harming the industry in a major way because it it cuts off. I wouldn't say ruin. It cuts off that creative versatility you can get through having many different writers come together to kind of give their hand of it. Now, the key to doing that well is having a good showrunner who can rein it all in. That's the key. The showrunner needs to make sure there's a consistent tone and a consistent message throughout, and I think that's where they failed. But you can't say having multiple writers per episode is the failure. It'd be the showrunner's failure. And I gotta be honest, I don't even know who the showrunner was. So
Neither do I, but I suspect it's the guy that wrote the first and 10th episode.
probably
He's the only writer to have 2 episode credits.
Omar Madha.
Is that it?
No, Omar Madha directed the first 2 episodes.
I'm not talking about the director.
No. But I wanted to bring this up since we're talking about creative failures.
Wait, okay.
Ben, I'm going to give you 3 minutes to go on.
I don't need that many.
Let's go on a witch hunt.
He's not worth 3 minutes.
Let's go on a witch hunt here.
And okay, no. If by chance Omar or someone he knows he listens to this, I'm not in the business of trashing fellow directors because I don't make anything good. That's just a simple fact. However, I think there are some things we need to talk about. Zoom ins to escalate tension don't work in any medium except soap operas or Jaws. You can't do it. It doesn't work. And you did it too many times. Too many times. It pulls the viewer right out like that. And I hated it. And it's what immediately made me message you guys and go, oh, God. I couldn't do this. Because I was like, if it's going to be this for 10 episodes, I couldn't watch it. Absolutely not. No matter how interesting the content hooked me, I couldn't do it.
It was very Sci-Fi Channel.
And then, thank God, new director episode 3. I was like, oh, fuck. Breath of fresh air. I didn't really like episode 3 as it was.
And
but
Omar didn't come back the rest of the season.
And, well, everyone got 2. So that's why. I mean, he just happened to be the dude who got the first 2.
Oh, I see. Alan Urkush got 2, but it was separated by...
Yeah. And I wonder... I'll look this up, but I don't want to say it if it's not true. But, oh, yeah, no.
By the way, I believe the showrunner was Aaron Martin.
Directed episodes of The Rookie, 24. Like, come on, man. You're better than that. I know you are. Maybe it was your DP. But if your DP is going to suggest something like that, you fire them on the spot. So...
They could do that in editing as well.
No, that wasn't an edit zoom. That was a camera zoom.
I want to move on from
That's fine. We
This-
got a lot to
Can we
talk
talk
about.
about writers' rooms for 20 minutes?
Yeah, we could.
Like, it's so good. I love talking about
I actually
writers'
want to keep talking about the cast, or at least the characters.
do that.
Yeah.
So there are certain. I also love the character Sasha, however you
Yeah.
want to say it.
Wonderful.
It was said multiple ways.
He's great.
He was amazing when he became a. Had the alien symbiote in his brain.
Yeah.
His character jumped up 100%.
Yes.
Amazing.
He just needed something to do.
Because the actor showed like, oh, he really is good.
Yeah.
But he just needed that push.
Oh man, I love
was
Sasha.
great. Yeah.
The whole scenes with him on the bridge were incredibly tense, and it was all thanks to him. Like he nailed that.
Yep.
It's wonderful.
Oh
sure.
God, I loved his character. So 3 characters I didn't like. I don't remember the Russian guy's name, but August.
Oliver.
Was he Russian?
Yes.
Yes, he said Nostrovia.
I heard
He actually
that.
he spoke
Like,
he spoke
but
Russian.
he never had an accent, right?
Well, but he did speak Russian. at
It's an
certain
American
point.
crew, isn't it?
So
I was wondering. I was confused.
I think he has a Russian background.
which is why it comes out when he's drunk, maybe.
The actor
Okay,
is
that's what I was
Russian
wondering.
and the character is Russian.
Okay, so he was maybe born in Russia because he mentioned St. Petersburg and the floods.
And the character actually was born in Russia, yeah.
All right, so perhaps then he's just very Americanized and the accent maybe comes out when he's drunk.
Probably.
Oh, I'm fine
So,
with that. I was
and
just confused.
So Oliver, August, and Javier, because it's not Javier, it's Javier. That's how they pronounce it.
Yeah.
I hated them the entire fucking time.
It was funny.
This weird CW love, as Matt would say, like it's very CW. The character August is played by an actress from a CW show. Like it's very CW, and I feel like the writers.
Honed in on that.
Yeah, it was bad.
Even the music.
The music every time
Every
they were
single
doing
scene they
something
were
was
together.
so CW was disgusting.
You guys
shit on
just don't have
CW
fun.
deservedly so.
No, okay, so first of all, number one, if this show was better, Blue Hunt would become the next Summer Glau.
I don't even know what you just said. What, I don't know what
she's-
Summer Glau is. I don't know what Blue Summer. I just know Red October. That's all I want.
Hang
Let's
on.
go.
Miller's gonna have to cut this because you can't be the host of a sci-fi show and not know who Summer Glau is. Sorry, buddy.
Ben, I don't know who Summer Breeze is either.
Summer Glau is best known for River in Firefly,
Yeah, I know.
but
who it is, yeah.
she's I believe she's a Terminator in Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Yeah, no one talks about that show.
She was a staple in sci-fi for a long time, but she had a kid and took a step back, and that was that. But yeah, no,
Her staple is literally what she did in Firefly. And
no,
Serenity.
dude.
No one cares about Terminator. We're moving on.
First of all, yes, they do.
We should just move on. We really should.
Yeah, Ben, we have to move on.
Okay, that's fine.
We're talking about a whole season of a show here.
Okay.
So,
No
anyways,
clean cut.
that love triangle between those 3 characters of Oliver, August, and Javier was completely unnecessary.
Hard to watch.
And I literally said to Mark, if this doesn't end in a hot threesome, it's completely useless. And it ended in a hot threesome.
I said, just you wait, Colin.
It ended in a hot threesome. If someone got pregnant, it actually was the female of the group.
Which that was actually
In
an
a
interesting
sci-fi movie, you never know. It was the female, though, oddly enough.
That was an interesting twist, and I was caught off guard by that because they were told they were all sterile.
That's why they did the whole sterile thing, I think. To throw you off.
Which
Crazy
okay,
twist.
but that is also like that's an interesting problem to have
Pregnancy?
for one of the crew. I think it's a interesting side effect to space travel that is actually something that is deeply affecting to a crew member. And it was like it immediately brought interesting conversation between 2 of the people. That was actually one of the interactions between Javier and August that I liked a lot. Was when they were bickering about socioeconomic status and having stored away like fertility ahead of time. Like I thought that was a good dynamic between the 2 of
It
them.
actually felt really forced when it happened. But then... No, it did. No, I'm talking about the whole, like, storing eggs away. Oh, I couldn't make it to Canada. That was kind of weird. It was kind of weird. But going forward to where they are in the show with her ended up becoming pregnant, it was like, okay, I see why they set that up. When it happened, it was weird. I was
Okay.
like, why are they hitting this so hard?
Can we use that as a jumping point though? him talking about us being poor and barely making rent before he came on this crew.
Sure.
How did this crew come together? This is what I don't understand. So it's what did they call it? $1 trillion expedition. And how did they pick this crew?
So
I would imagine it was the most capable scientists
Elizabeth
on Earth.
Ludlow was somebody who babysat people that were kidnapped for some cartel.
So there's
totally makes sense.
Really, really important piece
The writing was so
where
bad.
it doesn't matter.
Well, I would say if Cass is any indication, the first ones were just kind of the throwaways.
I have a theory. If we want to get into it now, because it goes back to Harper Glass and the CW-ness of the show.
Sure.
So this society that we live in another life is not what it seems right off the bat. Like, I feel like that's important to say. I'm not at all gonna fangoggle here like Mark does all the time with Rogue One, but instead I'm going to present what I believe the writers wanted to say, and if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But I think this is a society that's kind of been driven by where we're at now, the focus on social media and the focus on shallowness, and I hate using that word in connection to social media, but it is, and kind of youth. I think a lot of the fact, first of all, the fact that Katee Sackhoff is 30-something and is considered an old person on this ship right off the bat is an immediate telltale sign of the world that they live in, where she doesn't carry that same respect just because she's a veteran, because she's an old person, and they don't respect her because of that. We very obviously have a society that has accelerated education, because someone mentions they graduated from MIT at 16. I forget who it was. They're a heavily accelerated education. And then there's the fact where this crew came from. We know that Katee Sackhoff, Nico's first protege was Ian. There's her first protege. And Ian put together the crew. So what very likely happened is, and I assume that everyone gets a decent education in this world, much in the same way the kind of like Star Trek world would work, where, for the most part, things are good. But obviously the floods were a whole other thing. But I think a lot of the fact that, number one, Ian was the original captain of the, I forget the ship's name.
Starts with a P, I think.
Which one?
The ship. What's the ship's name?
Oh,
their ship. The Salvary?
The Salvare. Thank you. The fact that Ian was the original captain of the Salvare, I think, has a lot to do with the fact that, number one, we have all these younger kids on here. And number two, the fact that they're so smart. I think it was August that graduated from MIT at 16. They're so smart because this is a society that lets them be smart. And that also has to do with how shallow and how vain they are and how uniforms are out. We don't do uniforms anymore. You can just kind of...
I thought that was interesting.
It's an office setting, basically. And I think that, they have faster than light travel. It's a lot of, in this case, they wanted you to read between the lines, but they made the fine print very, very, very small, I think. And it just wasn't hitting the audience. It didn't hit me. I sat there and thought about it for a while, and like I said, I could be missing this. This is why it still gets negative marks, because like, even though this is maybe what they were trying to go with in this setting, I'm not gonna say like it's good because of that, because if that's what they were going with and we were translated this well, then I think it'd be good. I think if we understood it well enough, and this is the world, then I think we could go, yeah, no, this was an interesting idea. I really liked it. But it wasn't translated well, so it sucked. Do you get now why Rogue One sucks, Mark?
Okay.
That's
Right,
really
you're
what we were trying to
saying
say.
you picked up on the undertones in this, but Rogue One was over your head.
But it gets no special marks. That's what I'm saying. I picked up on the undertones in Rogue One, but it got no special marks.
I'd say one big point. I'm sorry, I was just gonna say real quick, and it brought up in my mind emotional intelligence is like kind of a theme in this show.
Yeah,
Yes, a huge theme.
It's actually very, very interesting that you mentioned that. Yeah, I think the youngness and emotional intelligence, let's say, of William, of the crew, and the fact that everybody is so young, I think that's a big theme throughout the whole show.
It's never once mentioned, and I don't know if I'm not okay mentioning this. I don't know if it does set it back, but I think it's worth noting and admirable. It's never once mentioned that Zane's transgender.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you're right.
It's normal, and
that was the point. Is they wanted to make
exactly. And as someone, I'm just gonna get real for a second because I think it's worth talking about. I once read a thing where it was like intellectually accepting but not instinctually. I think me as a cis white male am intellectually accepting of everyone. I don't care. But when it comes to transgenderism, it takes a moment for me to kind of process in my mind. And watching this show actually was like normalizing it more for me. And like no trans man or woman needs my acceptance or understanding, but it helps me be a better person around other people. So I thought that was worth it.
This may sound messed up on my part, showing how unperceptive I am, but I didn't realize that character was transgender until I saw the 5 o'clock shadow. I kind of just ran with it and didn't even think about it. And I saw it, I was like, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Having exposure to trans women helps you really just kind of like, because I have a friend that a few times we've met up and she, and I had to get over that roadblock in my mind.
Right.
I asked a lot of questions that were completely inappropriate, but like you said, exposure to this idea helps us. I mean, it's like what Star Trek did, you know,
absolutely.
With the horror, and like that was exposure for a younger generation. So I believe that that's one of those things that's just going to be like it's presented in the show. Just accept it.
And so yeah, in that way, I view Another Life in sort of not quality wise, setting wise, a gritty Star Trek. So
and honestly, they really do not touch at one point that character is transgender, like
never.
At all.
It's not important.
Yeah.
They do not touch on it.
She's a woman. That's all that's important. Yep. And so they're just tell a story.
And I can only hope that we see that going forward in, I mean, obviously not just sci-fi, but everything.
Yes,
Just
absolutely.
do not even mention it.
Absolutely.
Okay, so your defense for
Not defending the show. Sorry for interrupting.
The
I'm not
near
defending the show.
unbearable lack of professionalism in the crew members is that they're young and emotionally charged.
Bill's. That's Bill's, not Ben's.
That was basically what you said.
Yeah,
it was
they're young.
They're young, smart.
But that's not okay. So that's not my defense. But it's my hypothesis, if you will, is that that's just the way the world is. It's not about the fact that this is a special case on the ship. Maybe a little bit because they're in a crucible of emotion and hormones, apparently.
This was a governmentally backed.
Was it?
Mission. Well, yeah, they've all got U.S. patches on their shirt.
The U.S. is what.
But what is the U.S. at this point? We don't know.
They still have a standing army. They show that.
Sure. I mean, you're right. I'm just saying, like, society
when
changes.
Sasha breaks out the welcoming mat for the planet that
Sure.
they're
Right, yeah.
on, it's the U.S.
True.
He's representing the U.S.
It was just
the world, but the U.S.
It just felt like cheap writing at a lot of times where there were tension built in things that shouldn't have been an issue at all.
I agree.
And they had a lot of good things happening in the story and within their writing in the sci-fi, but it was the inner crew dialogue at a lot of points that just felt so cheap and driven poorly, in my opinion.
Well, it's aimed at teenagers to start.
The show?
Yes, absolutely. The show's aimed at teenagers.
Teenagers don't like sci-fi.
I mean,
They like
someone should have told them that.
post-apocalyptic,
But
sparkly vampires.
who
That's
else
all
are
they care
these
about.
relationships? Okay.
That's a 10-year-old stereotype. You just aged
Sparkly
yourself.
vampires were us. So,
That was us.
That was not me.
well, our generation.
Yeah, no, it's a joke. No, teenagers don't like sci-fi.
But
at all.
why else would they write those stories? Because adults don't like those kind of character relationships. So
I think it was.
But you know who does like
I think it was
those
a poor
guys?
choice.
Teenagers like those kind
I
of
don't
character
dislike all
relationships.
the character interactions they had.
Just 90% of them.
Just so well, there a lot of them were in your face. It wasn't about their relationships with each other. It was that
Right,
it
there
was
was no subtlety.
they couldn't keep any of it on a professional level. Every single time there was an issue between two crew members, it was like nothing can be done until we take care of this. There was literally a point where Nico is guiding the craft back to save the entire crew, and she has to start a critically painful conversation with Cass on the way to land the ship. Like, she couldn't have waited till 45 seconds later after they're reconnected and saved everyone's lives.
You said the key word there is time.
Yeah.
They tried to tell a story in 10 episodes that honestly should have been told in way more, and I don't know why they did that. If it was fear of not getting renewed for a second season.
I mean, Netflix doesn't really go beyond 10 for a season, do they?
No, they don't. But I'm saying is they wrote way too much material for too short a time. They should have drawn out all those ideas. And that might be my biggest complaint. It just was rushed.
The good news is, though, they can keep cycling out crew members because we have no idea how many more are in stasis still.
But can they cycle out another season? Who the hell knows?
Well, I think if we do see a second season, it'll probably pick up with them getting home. Because that's the interesting story. The journey back is not interesting anymore. They know how to get back easily. It's going to just pick up. They're going to land and see, shit.
I don't...
Because now this is where the show gets interesting.
But here's the thing is the story is on that ship.
I think they're going to end up going back out.
Maybe.
Talk to Dubois, be like, this is bullshit. And Dubois is a human.
Dubois.
So.
It's interesting, though. They are now in this territory of, we have met aliens several times now, and we are in this space to continue gaining allies in space, essentially.
Oh, God.
But are they just going to rush back? They've already set up the parallel storylines. They could continue taking care of Earth's perspective and keep their space perspective.
I mean, they just saw the Akaya. This is a real spoiler. They just saw the Akaya blow up a planet.
Right, yeah.
If I were them, personally, I'd hightail it back home.
Clearly the
and tell
Akaya
them what I saw.
can get their way ahead of them if they wanted to, though. Or at least they should expect that if they had urgency to get home. I don't think they're going to get there before the Akaya if they really wanted to just go blow up Earth.
Well, you don't give up. You don't go, they'll get there ahead of us.
That's what I'm saying is they can go gain other allies and potentially fight against the Akaya instead of just going back to Earth. And what are they going to do once they get back to Earth?
No, you're misreading that situation because if you know your planet's in danger, imminent danger, then you don't go, okay, let's go get more friends, when at any moment the friends you're getting for the fight could be pointless because the fight is over already.
Either way, we're heading towards speculation, and I don't want to do that.
Sure. Yeah.
For this, I want this to stand on its own where it is.
Fair enough.
I think it's a great idea. Another Life. I thought it was good. I think they tried to pull on too many strings, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. I look at it, I kind of broke them up into like every 2 episodes is the way that it kind of felt structured for me.
Well, every 2 episodes was a different director, so.
It flowed well in those 2 episodes every time. Like, they were focusing on a problem, and I liked it. It just jumped too many times. Too many different stories trying to be told.
Yeah.
While also on the side trying to develop these characters that most of them I didn't care about at all. I just didn't. Mm-hmm. And that's unfortunate. I want to care about all the characters on a show.
Well, they would do things like, I enjoyed the relationship that was building between Oliver and August at first when they were on the planet mining for the crystals and everything.
Yeah, that was a good
It was
start
interesting.
to that.
And then they
Weird sex
I feel like they
triangle,
kind of cheapened it in a way all of a sudden. It was interesting and they were building it and it felt pretty good. They did that a lot. They're like, okay, we're introducing this character and some interesting stuff is happening. And, oh, yeah, okay, we're going to inject the drama really quick. And now I've lost interest in the character. Because they're acting like a 5-year-old.
CW. Anyways,
You guys sound like grandparents.
Come on, man. As soon as I found out that one of the actors was from a CW show, I was like, makes sense.
Yes, the highly successful CW channel that keeps cranking out ratings-breaking hits. Yes.
Oh, I'm looking at my notes. The other Predator was the audio callback on the planet. That reminded me of Predator.
What?
When why did I forget his name again?
Sasha?
Sasha. When Sasha was on the planet by himself, and they like played his recording back. That reminded me of Predator too. I feel like that was a callback.
I haven't seen Predator in a billion years. I don't remember them doing that.
Oh, the Predator kept recording audio they were playing, or the audio of them talking or laughing and things like that would play it back to them, and it was like spooking them from the forest.
That was oh wow, I didn't even spot that. Great job, man. I don't know. I guess I kind of just want to jump into good sci-fi, bad sci-fi at this point.
Well, could I want to talk about the Akaya really quick, though.
Okay, you could talk about the Akaya.
Just really quick.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because it's without a doubt the most interesting thing
but focus
to come
on
out of the
so
show.
fucking little.
But focus on so little. But I like that there's a mystery. I was ready for the planet that they got to not be the planet that needed to be.
And which it was.
Which it was. I was ready for that. I was
no
like,
shock there,
I was
yeah.
like, this is going to be some sort of outpost or something. It's not going to be. And they get down to the planet, and I'm like, okay, what's happening here? While it was all predictable to a point, it was interesting to see, and I think in a little bit timely, as far as like how we use our mouthpieces, our social mouthpieces. It was interesting to see a city that just with bones filled in the streets, and then the quick juxtaposition to Harper Glass kind of filling everything. I thought it was it was nothing new. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't anything like, wow, I've never seen this before. But I'm excited to see where this goes with the Akaya sowing distrust on Earth, while we have a group of people who can't stay and fight for them. They can't be like, no, you're wrong, you have to listen. Like, if they get back to Earth, and this isn't speculation, this is just just where it lies, where like if they get to Earth, they can't stay and try and tell everyone that they're wrong. They have to go back out at that point. So it's an interesting dilemma to be set with, where it's like they're going to win this. I think if the show continues, I think the Akaya win.
At the end, that sci-fi string they're pulling on,
the Borg. Oh yes, absolutely.
the show V.
Yeah,
that's what that is.
Yeah, no, I know.
They're doing V now.
Yeah, we forgot to mention, but yeah, I know.
Yeah. I thought about it. I was like, should I write that down? No.
Instead of
and then
lizard
that last
people,
episode, it's like, oh, this is V. Okay.
Instead of lizard people, it's just brain people. And like Javier, with now having one of their probes in his mind, like there's so many cool setups where it's like, I desperately want a second season out of this.
Right.
Because I know it could be better. It could. And, and plus Katee Sackhoff, I'd like to see her have more work. So...
Oh, she'll never have a problem being employed.
Sure.
The show was not so bad to the point where I don't think it could be redeemed. Personally, I don't think it deserves a second season based on what I've seen.
I think they might give it... I mean, we don't know ratings with Netflix. They don't play that game.
Right.
So it's just all about how many new people subscribed within the period that came out.
They're going to look at the data and how many people actually watch the show. And if enough people watch the show, they will do another one.
No, that's not how Netflix runs it.
That's all it's got to be based.
No, Netflix runs it based on new subscribers.
Yeah.
not on how many people watched the show. They like to tote how many people watch the show as like marketing ploys to be like, ooh, 88 million people just watched this shitty ass Bird Box. Don't you want to subscribe to Netflix and see how much it sucks?
Well, Bill, you're in the metadata game now.
I was about to say there's a lot of interesting things about, Netflix has 1 billion data points. Right. So it's very interesting and you mentioned it. I mean, that's a revenue driver is their subscription service. So if they want, they could track, our new subscribers watching this show. And if no new subscribers are watching this show, then we don't need it.
Exactly.
That's it. New subscribers watching this show that don't pause and leave in the middle of it.
This has nothing to do with sci-fi, but to speak on that, this is the only example I have is during Super Bowl, I don't remember what year it was, 2017, maybe it was 2018, they showed a Jack Ryan trailer and Amazon Prime subscription for video, like that subscription doubled that day.
Yeah. And Jack Ryan was safe.
Jack Ryan was literally renewed for a second season a few weeks later.
Yep.
The first season didn't even air yet.
Yep. Right.
But because subscriptions went up right after that trailer aired.
This is why the social media tantrums over
the metadata. Trust the metadata.
No. The social media tantrums over Netflix canceling shows will never get you anywhere. It happened once with Sense8, and I think they're always gonna think it's always gonna happen now. And it's like, no, if your threatening of pulling out is less value than the value of a new subscriber, then they do not care.
Or the long-term strategy.
People should not be worried because Netflix has talked about they're going to back off of creating new content. They're just going to continue the content they have.
And like you were saying, like what is the business strategy of Netflix? They are producing so much freaking content, and that's just a long-term strategy to keep subscribers.
Yeah.
They're trying to keep people at this point,
right.
Which is like the game right now is like if you've been providing a service for more than 15 to 20 years, you have to fight to keep your subscribers.
Yeah, I don't know if it's totally just there yet, but with the onslaught of Amazon Prime stepping up now and really going for it, and Hulu's now owned by Disney.
They're outspending all the rest.
We have the very tempting Disney Plus package coming. It's like they have to focus on retaining.
We win. Everyone in this room wins with this because they are trying to boost up so much value with every single thing that they're doing.
I could see prices start to drop soon.
I was going to say they have to. Like Netflix just went up a couple bucks in the last year. But
they offer different packages, which is huge.
Right. That is huge. I still haven't returned my DVDs. But like you said, like with these services, there's so much competition happening. Yeah. Huge amounts of competition, which is beautiful. That is beautiful for us because we get a lot of good content.
What is Prime at this point? $12.99?
Prime is $99 a year.
Yeah, that's...
Well, I'm sorry. I'm looking at monthly. I look at monthly. Sorry.
Can you pay monthly for Prime?
Yeah, it's $12.99.
Oh, they changed that. I'm stuck on a yearly.
I was gonna say
I need to call someone.
You're still getting a better deal.
$30 a year.
I think I'm still on student pricing. I'm not sure.
You definitely. Oh, well, you've recently been to school.
But on top of that, Hulu has very cheap deals now.
I get Hulu for free
and
through Spotify.
As you said, I'm sorry. I'm going to advertise it for it now. Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus is going to be one package for I think $12.99.
Yep.
No way.
That's fucking huge.
Wait, did you say you can get Spotify for free?
Hulu through Spotify, I believe.
Hulu through Spotify.
Yeah, you get Spotify, you can get Hulu.
I think it's like
Hulu's latched on to a lot of companies.
Yeah,
it's about to go away.
It's a student thing.
Because of Disney Plus's shit.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're going to cancel it with Spotify. I'm sure they're going to cancel it with Sprint. But I'm going to get Disney Plus, so I don't care.
$12.99 for all three of those, which I pay separately right now. I'm fucking down.
Yeah.
I'm a weirdo. I've just got Netflix and Verve.
Okay, right, we're done.
Give it to me. Come on my face, Daddy Disney.
Okay.
To make a long story short, this show was decent. I actually recommend you watch it. Just go in ready to be entertained / disappointed at the same time. Does that sum it up well?
I'm not sure.
I would have finished it if we weren't going to watch it for this. If we weren't doing it for this.
I agree, but as the show went on, it got better.
It did.
It did.
I think this is going to be one of those shows that viewers get to the first episode 45 minutes in and just never get past that. Yeah. I think Netflix is going to see that on their data and just be like, oh, okay. Yeah, they're definitely not getting past this season.
Right. And it's unfortunate. I like the ideas that they tried to do here, not executed well.
Yeah.
Visually gorgeous show as well.
Oh, yeah.
I thought the VFX were great.
Yeah.
Like a lot of their shots were really nice.
I mean, it was very British Columbia.
Yeah.
Sci-fi show. Like this show looked like it was made for the Sci-Fi Channel, except Netflix got it first. That's what it fucking looked like.
By the way, one piece of news we didn't cover, really quick tangent. Sci-Fi canceled Krypton and canceled going forward on their Lobo show.
Saw that coming.
Yeah, right. Don't ever take a show to Sci-Fi.
I mean, really saw that coming. DC shows
show.
flourish on other networks.
Anything
Why would you take
flourishes
it to
on other networks.
Why would you take it to Sci-Fi? Yeah,
Get
it's
off
dead.
of
It's
Sci-Fi.
a dead
Run.
network. Bye.
Anyway,
the Sci-Fi podcast does not like the Sci-Fi Channel. We're just saying that now.
yeah,
Well,
no.
Sci-Fi now.
Sci-Fi, yeah.
Anyway,
All right. I think that's all we have time for
are
tonight.
we doing good,
Good
bad?
sci-fi.
We're gonna do good sci-fi, bad sci-fi.
Good sci-fi, bad writing.
Thankfully, it's a short
Yeah.
cast here today. There's only 4 of us, in case you haven't noticed.
The 3 for most of it.
We're gonna start with Ben because he's sitting opposite me, so I'm looking at him. Ben,
That's good because I gotta pee.
good sci-fi, bad sci-fi. Go.
Good sci-fi, bad show. I liked a lot of the. It hooked me. Every episode after like the 3rd episode had me wanting to see what was next. And I mean, hell, if it's doing that, it's got to have something going on for it. So
Yeah.
good sci-fi.
Mark? Oh, I'm sorry. I go counterclockwise. Always counterclockwise.
I think it was good sci-fi. I think the story writing was pretty good, but I think the dialogue was terrible.
Oh, yeah.
I would watch season 2, I think, especially because I think if it came out, we'd do it for the podcast. But I'm not banking on a second one coming out. I'd probably lose interest by the time it came out. So unfortunately,
I'm gonna say it's good sci-fi, definitely. So one of the big things about sci-fi for me that I want to see always is the exploration of what it means to be human from somebody that's not human. That's a huge, huge aspect of sci-fi for me. All my favorite sci-fi intellectual properties that I watch always has that element. And with the character William, that was there. I loved his character because of that. Aside from that, they pulled on all the little strings that I love, like the Alien franchise. I even said Event Horizon because of the whole dream sequence and reality shifting for Nico. That was a huge thing for me. I love that. Arrival, obviously. I think it was borderline. It was great sci-fi, but it was awful in terms of a show. Like this, it was forced in a lot of areas. The writing was bad. The acting, I'm not going to say the actors were bad, but the acting was bad. Someone didn't push them the right way, or at least direct them the right way. I don't know. So, yeah, great sci-fi, I would say.
I would say. See, the thing is that I asked myself a lot of questions while watching the show, but it was so not memorable. Like, I feel like there was the slightest hint that the writers had really cool ideas and shadow, and they had these cool motifs that they wanted to get across, but you just kind of got a hint of it, but then just the drama came in. And you're like, okay, I get a hint of it, and the drama came in. You know, like, what does it mean to be human? How do we live with regret? How do we accept ourselves? How do we what does all of this mean? And then it's just like you said, then you get slapped in the face with drama and you forget about the actual existential
I wouldn't say
questions.
slapped in the face was unnecessary drama.
That's it.
Because drama is important.
Well,
Star Trek Next Generation Season 1 and 2 prove you need drama, otherwise the show sucks.
Right.
Which it did.
Right.
Drama is important.
yeah.
This was unnecessary drama.
Right, but the drama would be something that, pertains to every Star Trek episode had its motif. Every Star Trek episode had its interesting thought. And
Cautionary tale.
Everything. And so the drama played into it. When I think about the drama, I think about, sexuality. I think about, what was going on there? What were they trying to prove with that? What were they trying to say? And I wasn't sure what they were trying to say with that. I really just didn't get it. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, ooh, sexy, cool future. And I'm like, okay, but why? It just didn't answer a lot of good questions for me. So I'd actually say it was a fun show, but it wasn't great sci-fi. It wasn't good. I don't think it was good sci-fi. It was a fun show, though. I think, and I have to, okay, all cards on the table. I got to episode 5 before the podcast here, but so far, what I've seen has been fun. It's been fun, but
You've been spoiled.
I have been, and I get it. I'm actually not that depressed about it.
Show's not that good to the point where you're like, oh, damn.
Right.
Oh, shucks.
Honestly, everyone that listens to this probably didn't watch the show anyway, so it's fine.
Right. This is a do I really want to give it a shot? Listen.
We did it because we had to, not because we wanted to. Because we love Katee Sackhoff. Honestly, that's probably why we did it.
Yeah,
I think it's worth watching. Yeah. Honestly.
If everything you watch in your life is good, you're never gonna know what's bad.
I think that's a theme within the show somewhere.
I have a really, really good drinking game. Take a shot every time Katee Sackhoff clenches her jaw.
Oh my god, you would be so
Don't do that. You'll kill all of our viewers.
God, her perfect jaw. Anyways,
all our one viewers.
So I'm just gonna say right now, I'm gonna force you guys to do this. The next cast I want to release is going to be another Katee Sackhoff thing because I want to redeem Katee Sackhoff in me right now. We're gonna say Origin Unknown, which came out last year. Well, I'm dating this, but 2018 is when it came out. I honestly think there's maybe 1 or 2 people in the entire movie. So it's Katee Sackhoff interacting with an AI. So that would be great.
That sounds like your cup of tea.
Yeah.
Space her. Got it.
Space, Katee Sackhoff, artificial intelligence. Let's wrap it up.
Let's do it.
But are there any nervous systems coming out of someone's spine?
Yeah.
Hopefully. Oh, God.
That was terrifying and very cool. And I feel like they just breezed past it.
Yeah, I wish they focused on that more because that was so fucking cool.
I thought of it while I was peeing. So
I was cringing when it was happening. I was like, oh my God.
Dude, okay, also, Michelle, the science bitch, her fucking melting was something else. That was horrifying.
Oh God, I hated her character so much, and I was just looking forward to her death from day one, or from episode 1. I was like, I don't like this character. She's unnecessarily aggressive.
I didn't think you were supposed to like her.
Well, no, they tried to redeem her a few times.
Well, she had a redemption arc in saving the ship, but that was that.
No, I just think it was poorly written. You could have given everything that character gave, but been likable.
Okay.
It was poorly written. All right, I think that's all we have time for. So, also, apparently at some point, the boys are going to put out an Invader Zim movie cast, hopefully within the next couple weeks. It will not be on the regular scheduled day. It'll just be an extra bonus whenever it comes out. So enjoy that. I think that's all we have time for. So,
Goodbye.
Ciao.
Yeah.
Ciao.
Bye.
Anybody want a stinger?
I just want to end on the If that could be the official every time, just.
I have.
Okay, wait. We got a stinger. 1 second.
Rogue One sucks, and Mark is stupid for liking it.
Hold on. I get it.
Actually,
I get it. 1 second. I get it. Donkey balls. There we go.
That's the actual stinger.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Save these.
Do I have to do one? Everyone else did one. Do I have to do one?
Go ahead. Hey.
Ass.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
talk about the stinger. That is the stung.
Okay.
Bye now.
I left all the stingers in, bitches. We got one more for your ass.
I'll be sexy if it's not for this chin. That's all. I need to get rid of the chin. Otherwise, then I'll be a good looking guy.